Eskom says it's doing to try and aim for lower stages of blackouts this summer. I'm afraid at the moment it's still not looking very good. Stage 2 at the moment, stage 3 from 4 o'clock this afternoon. The Eskom acting CEO and his management team have provided an operational performance update. This was a little bit earlier. In case you missed it, let's head over to Heidi Giokos, who was following that briefing for us, live for us out there as far as Eskom is concerned this afternoon. Hello to you, Heidi. So they're saying they're trying to reduce the levels of blackouts, but for the general public, it doesn't seem like they're doing a very good job.
Yes, I think what's important here, Gareth, is what is the summer outlook in terms of load shedding. We always get an update in terms of what the winter outlook is going to be like, and now we need to find out what the summer outlook is going to be. In the beginning of September, unfortunately, we were subjected to stage 6 power cuts, really frustrating South Africans and further bringing the economy to its knees. We all know the negative impact that load shedding has on absolutely every aspect of our lives. But we have the acting CEO, Caleb Kasim, that is with us this afternoon. Thank you so much for your time. You're the man that's going to tell South Africans what stages are going to be for the summer. Unfortunately, it's still possibly stage 4, but maybe just tell us what stages we are looking at and why.
Thanks, Heidi, and thanks to your audience. From the work we've done in the outlooks, we are confident that we can accept and deal with UCLF, unplanned outages, at an average of 14,500 for the summer period. That then would equate during the evening peaks to stage 4 load shedding. Like we've experienced in the winter, we would see in the morning peaks for those stages to be much lower. We've also conducted some scenarios at 17.5, which we believe is now on the extreme side, 17,500 unplanned outages. That would equate to higher stages of load shedding, peaking at stage 6. From a management perspective and a generation and the rest of the Eskom staff, we are confident we can deal with 14,500. And the reason for that is, Heidi, when we went through the winter, the average unplanned outages was 16,500 in terms of megawatts. As we get to summer, there's 3 units of Kusile from the temporary stacks that would add over 2,000 megawatts that would come back, plus Unit 5 would be commissioned. So if you just take that 2,000 that would come back over the summer period, that allows us to confidently in terms of an outlook, say at 14,500, we're looking at stage 4 load shedding for the summer period.
But we do know that how unreliable a lot of the generating units are. We do have a number of issues with some power stations, as much as there are grand plans for Kusile, which is really going to help in terms of lowering the stages of load shedding. There is always a possibility of generating units not performing or going offline for whatever case it might be. So let's be practical in terms of the possibility of that happening, which will contribute to higher stages of load shedding.
No, it does happen, but as Nxumalo has presented, right, we do see a number of stations that are performing much better, much more reliable. For example, if I just take Tutuka is generating with 4 units at this point in time. Throughout the winter period, we've only had 1 unit from Tutuka. And similarly, at other power stations, they are performing much better. Yes, there are concerns around Kendall in particular that we need to address. I think what's important, when we do reach higher stages of load shedding, we want to recover as quick as possible and not have prolonged higher stages of load shedding. I think that has been a key in terms of what we've done as a leadership. And importantly, you have to make the difficult calls. Make it earlier when you take into account the reserves and where they are, so it doesn't exacerbate the stages of load shedding 2 or 3 days in terms of the future.
I'd just like to ask you lastly, Mr. Kasim, around the impact on the Western Cape. We do know that there has been some severe storms happening over the last 2 to 3 days in the Western Cape. Are you able to give us an overview of the damage to Eskom infrastructure and obviously electricity supply to many of these areas because of the storm?
Yeah, from our perspective as distribution and also working in conjunction with the Cape Town municipalities, we're working hand in hand to restore the infrastructure as quick as possible. The extent and the level, I'm not too close to that detail, Heidi, but we do appreciate, similarly like in the Eastern Cape, let's look to restore infrastructure as quick as possible for the benefit of the citizens.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it. That is, of course, the acting group CEO of Eskom, Caleb Kasim, just speaking to us about the overview in terms of what we can expect, Gareth, for the summer period. Of course, it seems as though we might stay at about stage 4 for the summer period. That's if there is no generating units that could cause any problems that would push us up to stage 6. Hopefully that does not happen. But we do look like we are in a better position in terms of energy availability factor and in terms of where we're going to be for the summer. But as I've mentioned, this is all unpredictable and uncertain because we know those generating units at a number of Eskom power stations are unreliable and can at any moment go offline and cause problems.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's what we've all gotten used to as well. Even though it might, as they say, not get worse than stage 4, it looks like there's a very good chance, Heidi, it could actually happen. Heidi Giokos out at Eskom for us this afternoon. So I'm afraid, even though it is getting warmer, the winter months are behind us. It doesn't mean that the blackouts are going to be miraculously vanishing. In fact, quite the opposite. We still could be experiencing up to stage 4. And as Heidi says, depending if there's more units going down, it could very well be worse.